What is going on, you guys? It's time now to do our out-of-box review for the high-grade Gundam the Origin Zaku 2 High Mobility Type Black Tri-Stars custom mobile suit for Ortega. Now, of course, we already took a look at the Shars version of the Zaku 2 and the Gaia Mash version of the High Mobility Type Black Tri-Stars Zaku 2. And so I've already covered the articulation in both of those videos, so I'm not going to get into any articulation for this. If you want to see more about that, you can go back and check out either one of those videos. The parts used for the joints of these kits are exactly the same. The only thing different about this High Mobility Type from the regular Zaku 2 is the legs and the backpack, neither of which have any effect on the articulation. So I'm just going to skip the articulation aspect of this video. I will point out a few things on here. Basically, I'll just point out where all the stickers are in case you forgot about that, and I'll point out some of the more tricky seam lines that this kit has. That's one of my biggest complaints about this kit. I do really like it. This is my basically third time building it, and I still love the construction of the kit. It's a very nicely engineered kit. Its only real downfall in my eyes is some of these seam lines are pretty heinous for such a new and nicely designed kit. I think for how well it's designed overall, like to have a few of the seam lines that it does are kind of a little bit silly. But of course, seam lines as a modeler is just something that you just have to deal with, so we're just going to have to take it in stride. But I will, like I said, point out where those are, just so you guys can be aware if this is something that you're planning on buying and painting. You are going to have to take care of those. Now, of course, that's the other thing about this, is that I'll point out again where all the stickers are. But of course, if you are going to be painting, again, just keep in mind that it's not really going to have any effect on you. That's just for those people out there who are not going to be painting, who do want to use the stickers. So let's get into talking about that. Now, if you'll recall, this did come with a nice big sheet of some pretty cool stickers here, but again, if these are not really my favorite, I don't really particularly like using these, so just gave these away. But just as a reminder, we do get that. On the kit, of course, we've got a sticker for the mono eye there, and let's see, on the backpack we've got a red sticker there, kind of shiny red, white sticker, one that goes around here, and then another one that goes all around this lower vent, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 white stickers on there. On the legs, we've got this dark blue sticker. This is all one white piece, and it goes actually up here a little bit higher, but it's covered with a blue sticker there. This part here on the front is obviously a sticker there as well. And I believe that's it on the mobile suit. For the seam lines I was just talking about, one of them is going to be here on this shoulder piece. It's going to be going all across the side of the shoulder piece there. The other ones, which I believe are the worst, are here on the forearms. Very, very noticeable. Shouldn't be too bad to get rid of those, but just that's the sort of thing, like right in such an obvious place. I think Bandai could have done a better job of engineering the parts not to have this huge seam line there right front and center on the front of the arms, where it's very clear to see. So anyway, of course, yeah, like I said, if you're going to be painting it, you can just get rid of that. Here on the side, there is a bit of a seam on in the side of the leg there. You can see that on the inside as well. That one does have a lot of details that seam is running through, so that one's going to be a little bit more complicated to get rid of. So just keep in mind that there are those around on the kit. And now let's get talking about the accessories, because that's essentially what you're going to be buying this kit for. Now, of course, with some of these runners being recycled, well, all of them being recycled except for the new parts, we do have some extra parts. So if you are not going to be painting, you do have a couple of options in terms of you choosing some different colors if you want. For the tops of the feet, those are black there. If you want to have those in white, you could do that. We have the white parts as well. And then for the chest part, the center of the chest is purple, but if you wanted to have that in black, you could do that in black. Again, if you're going to be painting, it has really no effect, but if you're just snapping, then you can choose those colors a bit. And of course, we have the different head with the commander antenna. If you want to use that, if you want to be technically accurate, you're not going to use that, but if you want, you can make your Zaku a commander. So then let's talk about hands. We have 2 holding hands there on the kit. No closed fists, but just 2 holding hands there. Then we have two special hands here, one for the left, one for the right. For the right hand, we have a trigger finger hand, and then for the left hand, we have an open hand. This is actually sort of like a rifle supporting hand, not so much the traditional like open hand, but of course, if you can, however you want to pose it, you can do that. So, and then for our weapons, we've got the Heat Hawk, again, both in active and inactive mode. The active one is just going to fit into the open hand, either the left or right side, no problems there. The inactive one is supposed to be able to attach onto the side skirt here, but I've found it really doesn't work very well because of the hose here and on the leg. It kind of bumps into either one of those and doesn't really stay on there too well. So yeah, that doesn't really work out too much. And then we also have our Zaku Machine Gun. I really like the Origins version of the Zaku Machine Gun. I think it's a great looking take on the weapon that we've seen in so many kits before. I think this is a really nice looking version of it. And then we do have an extra ammo pack here that we can attach onto the back skirt just by plugging that in there, and then that's attached if you want to use that. Sadly, we can't attach it onto the shoulder armor. Would have been nice if we could attach this onto here, but with some very simple modifying you could very easily do that. So that is that. But I think what you really want to see with this kit is the axe. So here is our giant Heat Hawk, and it is giant. Now, one thing that I've heard people complain about is that the giant Heat Hawk essentially just looks like a blown up version of the regular Heat Hawk, and as you can see, yeah, it's definitely looking like that, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. One thing that I think would have been cool to add is like a thruster bell, sort of like a booster here on the back. I said this, I believe, in the unboxing as well, on the back of here, just so that like when he's swinging it can boost out of there to like give it even more thrust. And it's pretty heavy, I mean, just to kind of help this get around. Just to give you a look at the size of this, here it is compared side by side with the Zaku. It's of course taller than the Zaku. Standing up, just the base of like the head of the axe here comes up to like the head of the Zaku, so it's going to be very tall. The weight issues should not be too bad though, holding it up. I'll have it hold it here in a minute. The other things that we've got with this kit are a nice clear base. So let me bring this back for a moment. We've got this base, which these legs here sort of open up. Not sure if that's really going to serve too much of a purpose, but you want to just have that open. And then this part can rotate around. We can change the angle of this here at the bottom just by removing that and plugging it back in. It has some different notches there, and then the top is the same thing. We can adjust the angle of this part as well by pulling this off and then plugging it back in a different position. So we can see we've got some notches there. Just change that up however you might want. And then the action base connector, which you can use with this, or you can use it with the regular action base, whichever you want, is just going to plug up underneath the Zaku like so. I found it's not really the best, it's not really the most secure connection, so just want to be a little bit careful about that, and then you're going to have no problems with that. And then of course we do also have our effect part as well to use with the axe. Now the one thing about this that's good is that it's cool that it's just plain clear rather than clear color. I think I want to hope that Bandai did that on purpose because they wanted to let the modelers be able to paint it whichever color they want, or just paint it themselves. But I imagine that the reason that it's clear is because they wanted to put it on the same runner with the clear base. And they thought they wanted the base to be clear, so might as well make this clear as well, put it on the same runner, and people will be happy that it's just plain clear because then they can paint it, right? So the other thing about this is that just due to the nature of it, it holds the axe in a specific way. So there is like a formed shape inside here that is meant to clip onto the axe a certain way. So that means that you are a little bit limited in how you can pose with this thing, because you need to hold the axe in this exact position, because other than that, I mean, if you wanted to have it in a different way, the flame effect part is not, or this effect part is not going to sit flat on whatever surface you have it on, whether it's on the ground or like against something if you're building a diorama or something. If you want that to be flat, you're going to have to obviously hold the axe at a very specific angle. So that's that. I'll put it in the hands, and then I'll show you what that looks like. And then once that's all lined up and posed up, here is the ideal pose that I think you want to go for, maybe when posing this kit, depending on what you want to do. At the end of this review, what I want to do is show you this kit standing alongside with the Gaia Mash version, as well as the Char's Zaku version. So if you want to see those kits standing side by side for comparison, I'll show that at the end of this video. But assuming you want to utilize the bass and effect part for this is probably going to be the pose you're going to want to go for. If you are having trouble getting it into the right pose, just refer to the manual. There's a nice picture in the manual that shows you. I mean, you can just kind of refer to the picture and kind of do your best to pose it like you see it in the photo, and you should be able to get the pose how you want it to be. Now, of course, if you remember, you can also maneuver the mono eye to change the direction of that, will help as well, and everything in there. I mean, the articulation of the kit is overall very, very good, so you shouldn't really have too much trouble getting it into this pose or any other pose, really, that you want to go for the kit. But let's change it up again here for a moment. Now, here is another pose from the manual, but well, from the anime as well, I suppose. But one problem that I'm having with this pose, which hopefully it won't happen here on camera, you'll just have to take my word for it, is that the head of the axe, the front of the axe, I don't know what you would call it, the blade anyway, is heavier than the back. So if you're trying to put it in this pose, the blade will tend to turn around so that the blade is actually facing the wrong way because that end is heavier. So just due to the gravity of that. But as you can see, with a little bit of just a balance, you have to get it balanced just right, and then you can have it holding it in this position like that to create another one of the iconic scenes from its very limited screen time in the Origin Episode 1. Alright, and that's pretty much going to do it for my review of the Ortega version of the High Mobility Black Tri-Stars, the Origin version of the Zaku 2. Now, I'm sorry this review was maybe a little bit shorter, a little bit more condensed than usual, just because I've basically reviewed this kit 2 times already, just with slightly different weapons and sort of outfitting. Anyway, but I figure this is a great way to end this review. If this image that you're seeing here doesn't bring a tear to your eye and a zigzag onto your heart, then I don't really know what's wrong with you, because this is a really awesome looking set here when you've got the 3 of these kits put together. Of course, to get the full Black Tri-Stars effect, you would need 1 more of the Black Tri-Stars, but I think just the 3 of these kits here is going to give you a really, really amazing look. And I mean, there's so many other weapons that these kits have that, I mean, are not being used here. I basically just gave them each their own specialty weapon, but we also have a couple of Zaku Machine Guns, another bazooka, another long rifle that we can use here, and all sorts of heat hawks. So a lot of really cool stuff that you could do with posing multiples of these kits together. This is just a basic standing pose, but I gotta say, very, very impressive looking when you get them all together, and on their own as well. They're impressive looking, great looking kits overall. So that's going to be it, guys. Hope this review was helpful, insightful, or in some way maybe helped you decide which version you want to buy. One thing that I did forget to mention now that I'm noticing, the Gaia Mash version of the high mobility type came with 2 shields. The Ortega version does not come with 2 shoulder shields. As far as the shoulder armor for the Ortega version, this is the only options that you have. 1 regular shoulder, spiked shoulder, and then 1 shield shoulder, just the same as the Char's version. So whereas with the Gaia Mash version, we did have a couple different options for the shoulders. With the Ortega version, we do not have that option. So just I figure I need to mention that as well. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you have any other questions, comments, leave those down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. See you later, guys.